The title of my presentation here is a question. Transhumanism and artificial intelligence, the ultimate pride, question mark. And I want to say that I hope I won't make too much of a caricature of transhumanism. I mean, I want to take it seriously, and I want to try to answer the question, and in 15 minutes, it's not going to be easy. So, we'll be talking a lot about pride today. I mean, the original Latin is superbia, usually translated as pride or possibly vanity. But, I mean, going back to the Greek tradition, it would perhaps be more adequate to talk about arrogance, grandiosity, or perhaps, as also has been mentioned several times already, hubris. And I think hubris, in a sense, sort of gets at the essence of pride in the kind of transhumanist version. So hubris, what is hubris? Going back to the Greek myths and to, well, the tragedies, I mean, hubris could be sort of thought about as the aspiration to take control of your own destiny and become more than human. I mean, more of a god, you could say. And I mean, very sort of obvious illustration of this. I mean, Oedipus has already been brought up, but in the context of transhumanism, perhaps the story of Daedalus and Icarus. You all know it. They tried to escape King Minos on Crete, and Daedalus, the inventor, he invents these wings, and they manage to take off, but Icarus gets arrogant and he flies too close to the sun, and the wax melts, and he tumbles down in the sea and he dies. So Daedalus is punished for his hubris. And I mean, from the transhumanist perspective, this punishment is really unjust. I mean, from that perspective, this vice is actually the ultimate human virtue and not the ultimate sort of human sin. And how could we understand that? Well, perhaps I should say something about transhumanism, about the history of transhumanism. Not all of you might be aware of, you know, the historical circumstances. I mean, the transhumanist movement is a kind of loosely organized networks of philosophers, scientists, tech entrepreneurs, artists, and sci-fi enthusiasts. And it all starts out in the 1970s, and it gets sort of more intense in the 1980s. And the main scene is the University of California, LA. And you have some of the key names up here on the screen. I don't have to read them to you. I'm sure many of you have seen or heard the names. And if you should sort of try to describe the transhumanist project, what it's all about, it's actually about making human existence better in all conceivable ways. I mean, smarter, you know, faster, stronger, whatever you have. But ultimately then also trying to defeat death through the use of scientific technologies. I mean the kind of ultimate wrong with human existence, according to the transhumanists, is that we have to die. And of course, then that makes the project of transhumanism a kind of hubris in the sense that you try to become more godlike, because the gods are, well, at least they live longer than us, and in many religious traditions, they live for eternity, or they have a kind of eternal life. And coming back then to Greek mythology, sort of naming transhumanist heroes, we have, of course, Prometheus, who is the semigod, the titan, who brings fire and also technology to the humans. And then he's punished for this by Zeus. And, well, he's tied or chained to a cliff, and he has an eagle which devours his liver every day, and it goes on and on again. And actually, there is also a kind of end to his plagues, to his suffering in Greek mythology, because we have this other transhumanist hero, Hercules. And Hercules, as a part of his 12 labors, actually releases Prometheus, killing the eagle with a spear. Or an arrow from his bow. You have the eagle down here to the left. It's kind of darkish, but it's just been killed, so to say. So Prometheus, Hercules, and Prometheus, aside from bringing the fire to the humans, he's also, interestingly enough, in this mythology, in this tradition, in other myths, he's made to be the maker of man. Sculpting human beings out of clay. And this, going a little bit more modern, brings us to the modern Prometheus, which is, as some of you might know, the subtitle of Mary Shelley's famous novel from 1818, Frankenstein. And Frankenstein is, of course, also a kind of transhumanist hero. What does he do? Well, he tries to create life. He assembles body parts. He sort of stitches them together, and then he uses lightning to sort of enlight life in this monster. And this is it's also very close to transhumanist thoughts and aspirations, to be able to control life and to be able to promote and keep on living forever. And also in Frankenstein, it's quite obvious that, I mean, Frankenstein is punished for his hubris. I mean, it all becomes a disaster. The monster messes everything up, including Frankenstein's life, and his whole life becomes a tragedy. And from the perspective of transhumanists, this is, of course, also very unjust, because Frankenstein should rather be seen as a kind of ideal, this aspiration to take human life in your own hands and be able to control it and prolong it for forever, or for at least for a very long time. And there are many 20th century forerunners in this tradition, running up to the 1970s and 80s with the first transhumanists. And I just want to point to two here. There is, of course, Julian Huxley, sitting to, well, it's to the left of you, the far left, that is Julian Huxley. And Huxley is often at least claimed to be the inventor of the term transhumanism in 1977 in a collection of essays. And who's sitting inside him? Well, it's of course, it's Aldous Huxley. It's the author of Brave New World, which I saw actually in the presentation of the program. You used that concept. So you have these two brothers. And I mean, you could say that the transhumanists, they choose Julian and not Aldous, because Aldous' novel is a kind of dystopian presentation of what science could do to us. I mean, we will end up in this genetically engineering society where people are controlled, etc., etc. Julian was much more positive. He was, you know, he really believed in technology and science as a way to choose to improve human society and humans. And so to that extent, the transhumanists rather, they went for Julian's vision. And also then you have here to your far right, interesting to me at least, working in this tradition of German philosophy, we have Günther Anders, was first husband of Hannah Arendt. And he wrote a very important and it's not even translated into English actually, philosophy of technology work called in translation The Obsolescence of Human Being from 1956. And in this novel, he used the phrase Promethean shame. And what is Promethean shame? It's what you feel when you're standing beside the machine that you have created and you feel inferiority. You feel ashamed that you're a human being, you're not as perfect and good as the machine. So that comes from Anders. And I think Promethean shame is very much what many sort of contemporary transhumanists feel when they want to go for this kind of technology prospect. Okay. I mean, I have to make this very fast, but I think you could look upon transhumanists, this tradition or this movement as consisting of two waves. The first wave would be about cryonics and medical life extension therapies and technologies, where you actually try to sort of make life much longer with the help of different kind of medical therapies, and also by actually preserving human bodies after they've died in liquid nitrogen, minus 210 Celsius. What you see here is a picture from Alcor Life Extension. And you also see the alternative. You can either have a whole body tank or you can have just a head tank. The head tank is just, it's less than half the price, actually. So, but the choice also reflects. It could be how rich you are, but it's also about if you really think that you will have any use for your body, except the brain, and when you're sort of woke up to life again, because. Coming to the second wave of transhumanism, which is about artificial intelligence and the project of uploading the human mind to a computer, illustrated here. Iconic book here is Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil, written in 2005. And there the idea is actually that you could get immortal by uploading the human brain or all the kind of connections of the human brain to a computer, and thereby also becoming machine, and therefore you would be able to live forever because you wouldn't have the kind of fleshy restrictions that belongs to a biological body. Okay, three important future turning points according to transhumanists. Looking on what is ahead of us. First is what is called longevity escape velocity, and this means essentially that for every year passing, medical science will be able to raise average human life expectancy by more than a year. And this would then result in people living much longer than today. I mean, not 120 years, maybe 200, 300, something like that. And many transhumanists think that that might happen, within 10, 20 years or something like that. I don't think that personally, but I mean, it's in the kind of near future. Then we have this event of the singularity that I mentioned, and this is simply the point of technological explosion when generative artificial intelligence will become more powerful than human thinking, and or when this prospect of human brain uploading begins. And Kurzweil, his prognosis is that this will happen in 2045. The last one is rather, this is real science fiction, I would say, but it's more the ultimate sort of point of the whole process. It's called point omega. What is point omega? Well, it's the point in time when the whole universe will become self-conscious because it's sort of reorganized as computer code. So everything would be information. And actually, although most transhumanists are atheists, there are some kind of religious transhumanists too. One could look upon this. This is my personal sort of observation, that you could actually sort of look upon this happening as God being realized for the first time, because there would only be one spiritual informational being. So that would mean no individual existence for humans or something like that. It's really the ultimate step in becoming godlike. And coming back then to the myths, I think these two waves of transhumanism, they correspond to two different forms of hubris or pride. You could call them Olympian and Christian or something like that. And the first is about this first wave with the cryonics and things. And that is the kind of the project of becoming as powerful as a god, but still with a body and with human aspiration, like smartness, dominance, procreation, everything you find in the kind of Greek mythology. The second wave then would be more about becoming a sort of godlike mind without a body, that is something beyond the human altogether. And this could perhaps be linked with the kind of spiritual tradition of monotheism. Yeah. Okay. yeah, as you've heard, I mean, we talked about artificial intelligence recently. Actually, been a kind of dystopian sort of turn also within transhumanism, because some of them now think that, well, it might actually not be brain uploading. It might instead be that the artificial intelligence itself becomes sort of smarter, more powerful than human beings, and they take over, and we cease to exist. And this seems like a problem, at least to me. But I mean, to some, transhumanism it would perhaps not be so bad, because the project is about escaping fleshy existence altogether. So perhaps it would be better that they exist than that we still, continue to exist with our biological bodies. And this finally brings me, and this is more my personal sort of observation, that I think there is a paradox here, because I think without a biological body or something like a biological body, we will have no needs, and therefore we will not experience any meaning in and with life itself if it's alive. So I think this kind of final process, if it's realized, everything will be meaningless. So okay, transhumanism and artificial intelligence, the ultimate pride. Yeah, I would say probably yes.
Thank you. Could we say that transhumanism might be the only way for human beings to control artificial intelligence? We will absolutely need it.
That was a tricky question. You mean transhumanism in the sense that we have to make ourselves better in the kind of race with the machines or something like that?
Download some brains to be equal with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk about that here, but I think more of a kind of cyborg existence is probably coming. I mean, the mobile phone will be more sort of directly sort of in the head. I think that kind of, and different kind of extensions with technological body parts and things like that, glasses. I think that will come, but I think we will have the kind of fleshy existence at the bottom, because the very fact that we are animals is very sort of important to our whole life form, and also to our abilities to feel anything, to be happy, and also to ultimately be virtuous or not. So I think we will not be replaced by the machines, because they don't have those aspirations, but maybe we will transform ourselves in this manner of using different kind of technological sort of extensions. And you could, of course, look upon that as a kind of embettered human, a kind of human that is better than the kind of contemporary one, yes.
Will this be accessible to everyone, or will we select a few people to be more transhuman than others?
Oh God, no! I'm sort of convinced it will not be accessible to everyone. It will be accessible to, to the tech entrepreneurs and to the rich, I think. Yes.
So it runs against the idea of equality between.
I think in practice, yes, but all the transhumanists, of course, we deny this. They say that is not our goal. We want to make it in an equal way, but looking upon how society works, today, and the things, the way things go about, I think that is very unlikely. No, yeah.
Shall we end by saying that Aldous Huxley's Brave New World is a rather boring book, isn't it?
Did you read his second, the Island? He has a second book. It's very. I can just say something very short about that.
I invited you to do
Yeah. Because the interesting thing with Aldous Huxley is that he was actually a kind of drug enthusiast. I mean, he really enjoyed hallucinogenic drugs. So he has a second novel from 1962, when he's living in California, of course, and writing this about the island. And the island is a kind of future utopic society where everybody takes what he calls moksha medicine, and that produces kind of fantastic experiences that you have, either alone or together. So in that novel, the drugs are used for the kind of better of humankind, whereas in Brave New World, soma is used to just keep people down.
Thank you very much, Fredrik.